Oh,
今進んでいますね。
press OK. I am currently live on you.
Yeah.
Yes, it says live.
That's the thing.
Hello. I am currently live on YouTube. I am Mary MacDonald, and I'm very excited to have everyone here tonight. I cannot believe this, but we are actually 12 days away from me rolling up to the starting line of the Rock and Roll Las Vegas Half Marathon. This will be the most difficult challenge for me, as it is the biggest race I have ever done. I am a teenage disabled wheelchair athlete from Massachusetts. I'm a theater kid, a disability advocate, and I do sports and storytelling. Does that work? Okay, the camera's working. But yeah, I'm very happy to be here. I'm a theater kid. I'm a music artist. I like to draw. That's a lot of the things I like to do. I kind of want to show the world what it's like to be a disabled athlete through a different lens. You know, we get that one point of view that being a disabled athlete means one thing. But, you know, there's multiple things that it could truly actually mean. It's different for everyone. So it's wonderful. All right, and this half marathon is not just about the 3.1 miles for me. It's about proving myself that I can do big courses and basically helping get more race visibility for disabled athletes. And I will be on the line hoping to advocate for everyone so then I can get more young racers like myself out on the starting line, because we definitely need to see that in more races. There's a limited amount, and I really wish that wasn't the case. But you know, and during this stream, I'll share about my training, what scares me during my races, because to be honest, everyone has that, and what I'm excited about, and what it really takes for a disabled teenager to be able to race like this. You know, the basics of logistics, the travel, and all. I would really like for people to ask questions. Don't be afraid to do that. I am willing to answer anything. I love to answer questions, and cheer for me, please. I would really love that. And let's do this countdown together. I'll be streaming, hopefully, for most of the days, counting down to this race. And thank you for being here, for supporting me and helping me roll toward the Rock and Roll Las Vegas Half Marathon. Let's get into it. So as I said, I am 12 days away from that, which is very nervous, but I'm very nervous, but I definitely know I can do it. I did run 10 miles, I believe, last Friday, and I really felt empowered by that. And I definitely feel like with the progress I made, that I can just continue to make that progress in the future. I think hopefully that I can continue to do that, because I enjoy racing. I love it. It's wonderful. Of course, it's always going to be challenging, you know, it's quite difficult, but it's so fun. I think, you know, I like challenges, you know? I like to learn new things. I like challenges in life, you know? You just gotta go with the flow, as they say. I'm a disabled wheelchair athlete and a theater kid, and here's a fun fact about me. I'm currently performing in Mean Girls at BP, Bristol, Plymouth, and yeah, I'm performing as the captain of the Marymount Mathletes team. So not the South Shore, but the team that South Shore goes up against. And I am also the bus that runs over Regina George, which I am quite proud of. But in the past, I have played multiple roles that I have also enjoyed, including Chief Ancestor 3 and Moana Jr., SpongeBob. I didn't play SpongeBob, but in SpongeBob the Musical, I played Perch Perkins, which is one of my favorites. The costume for that was just wonderful. I also played Enid Hoops in Legally Blonde, and I loved her. She was an advocate, a feminist advocate, and that felt legally fitting, and I think that was an amazing role. And yeah, I think I did Wizard of Oz, and I played the mayor of Munchkinland, which was quite nice. I love playing a short character when I am quite short. I believe I'm one of the shortest in my theater company, so it was really nice to be able to play a Munchkin because of that. So the training, I need to talk about that, because training has been tough and difficult, you know, both emotionally and physically, especially as a kid who's not so good in certain subjects at school, right? You have school and you have general life that you have to go through on top of being a disabled athlete, that's really difficult because finding that balance takes time. It's taken me 3 years to find a balance of my sports and my theater and my arts and things like that to a point where I'm comfortable, while still trying to have enough personal time to myself that I can, like, emotionally regulate. That's very difficult. Definitely when you're just trying to be yourself as well, because when you're training, you're pushing yourself to your limit, you're getting out there. Definitely helps get all your anger out, your stress out, yes, but trying to get to a point where you balance the anger and stress with your passion for the sport rather than it being just all anger, because sometimes that can be an issue, is just that you've done everything because of anger, it's just very, but thankfully I've been able to just find a way at a balance that makes it both because I want to do it and that I enjoy doing it, and the fact that I want to use it for emotional regulation, which is wonderful. Having that balance just makes life amazing. Fun fact, I really like traveling. Traveling is amazing. I enjoy it all the time. I think people don't realize being a disabled person means a lot of more difficulty traveling. People don't understand how wheelchair users get on and off a plane because we cannot walk. There's a good percentage of wheelchair users who can't walk. While I know there are some ambulatory wheelchair users, there is a good portion like myself who cannot walk. So getting through those tiny aisles on the planes is quite difficult. And there's this thing called an aisle chair that I love. And I've seen other things online of I think there was a company that made a aisle chair, but it was smaller, it was compact, and you could, like, put it up into the place where you put the luggage in the overhead bins, which seemed very wonderful, and I think that would be really, really cool. And, like, going through the aisle looked so much easier. The one thing is it doesn't have a back support to it, so for me, my core is very weak, so I would have to be very careful. Of course, my parents would be with me, so I don't think that would be an issue, but it would be very interesting, like, seeing how that would work. And I mean, it does take I don't want to say it takes so long, but it does take a little bit for the I don't know who the staff members are that do help people with disabilities get on the planes. There's some sort of group of people, at least at Boston, who are able to help people get on and off the planes, which is wonderful. But sometimes it does take a bit. And that adds extra time to a wheelchair user's travels, especially when security is already quite long, because most of the time your wheelchair is metal. And, right, you gotta think, yeah, metal is not good to go through a metal detecting machine because the whole chair is made out of metal. So that becomes difficult. So then that's when they start doing things like pat downs and searches, which take a lot longer. And yes, I'm happy about the safety. I'm very happy about that. It makes me less nervous actually when I fly to know that there's that safety out there. It's just more the fact that it does take a while. So if I had a seat like that, I think my life would be changed forever. I really think that I could actually, travel easily, maybe even more independently. That's one of my biggest goals. I want to be a Paralympian, and traveling independently is a huge part of that. So basically, I need to learn how to do that before I leave my parents. Before I go off to college, because traveling is a big part of college, like sports. There's a lot of out of state games and things like that. So trying to learn how to do that is one of the biggest plans for me. I think once I finally get that all squared up and ready to go, I think I'll be ready for anything that's thrown at me. And the one thing that there is also is hotel rooms. They're wonderful, but most of the time, everything I have to do is plan ahead of time, which means hotel rooms and things like that, which is quite the thing. I'm not the one planning it, of course, it's my parents. But when I become an adult, I know that's something that I'm going to have to plan on my own, which seems quite difficult. So once I get there, I think I'll be ready. I use my races for advocacy, and that's like one of my biggest things. I love to advocate. Hi? There's nobody there.
Yes, yes.
Not mine.
Keep going, we'll stop.
But yeah, basically just, generally just finding everything is just difficult. But one day I'll get there. I really like advocacy. That's what I was about to say. I got distracted there for a quick minute with technical issues, but that's okay. Everything that I do is for advocacy. I want the world to be able to see disabled people and not think that we're much different. A lot of people think we're a challenge to overcome, and I say, why? We're all human beings. I see no reason to find an issue with disabled people. That's what I say, because being physically disabled, it does make me different physically, but most of the time we are still human beings capable of anything. You just got to give us a chance. That's what I say. And even though the world is not built for us, we still find ways around that. You know what I mean? We still, if there's stairs, we advocate so then we can get a ramp built, because most of the time ramps actually help for everyone rather than just a specific group of people, like pushing a stroller up a ramp. You know what I mean? You can't get that kind of unification from stairs. You can only get that unification from a ramp. It's a very simplified way of saying that one thing that works for one person might not work for everyone. And I think that's something that we should look at as a community as a whole, just everyone and as a person, is just, it might work for a certain group of people, but we should really make it work for a whole group. What is?
Don't ramble. Go on to the other thing.
I do get a lot of people asking me, what am I most excited to experience in Las Vegas during race weekend, both on and off the course, which is a wonderful question. So I am a huge fan of sharks, fun fact. And there is this place called Mandalay Bay that I really want to visit, and they have a huge shark tank exhibit thing with a walk-through tunnel with sharks, and I think that's really cool. One of my friends actually told me about it, and I think that was really awesome. She told me about it, I think, a few weeks ago, and she went over December break. So there's a lot out there. I've been doing a lot of research on it. There's this cool Paris themed hotel, and then I really like Greece and Venice, Italy. Those are two places I would love to visit. And I think they have hotels that are themed around that. And then medieval times seems pretty cool. I'm a big Ren Fair kid. I love Ren Fairs. Ties in with my theater kid thing, and I think that would be really cool to check out. But on this trip, I think that when I'm racing, I just can't wait to see the bright lights. Shiny objects, they're wonderful. So that's going to be an amazing thing, especially when it's nighttime. It's going to be sunrise, I believe. So I get to experience those lights. You know what I mean? So basically, a lot of people don't understand that, what a good training week is. It's difficult, but there's always a good training week, and that's when I'm on my roller at least 3 times a week. And yeah, that's what I think is my name. Oh, hello.
For some reason, you didn't see the chat.
I actually just saw the chat. I have not seen the chat from my... How will I handle the time change? That is a very good question. I'd say that I'm probably going to sleep. I really like to sleep. Fun fact, I sleep in until about 10 a.m. on a good Saturday, or Sunday. But I think I might just sleep a ton and hope for the best. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but sleeping and hoping for the best, that is my biggest thing that I think, it's just not, there's no exact way, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, as a teenager, I sleep in. So that's kind of all I know is that for the time change. I don't know what the time change thing is. Rest is important. Exactly. Yes, rest is very important. I love rest. I have a phone here because my chat doesn't seem to be working today, but that's okay. You know, we roll with the punches. Get it? Roll with the punches. But anyways, yes. So if you want to support me, definitely check out marynolimits.com. That is where my website is. Support me. I would really love that. It's a wonderful website that I'm very happy that my dad made for me, which I'm very proud of. He did great. We also have a store where you can buy merchandise. It has my face on it, which I think it's a little jarring. It's kind of funny, to be honest. But I enjoy it. It's very silly. I love it. So basically, what made me decide to go to the Rock and Roll Las Vegas Half Marathon is a point that. Oh my goodness. Hello. Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yes, and I hope it's a fun race as well. I'm very excited. But yeah, basically, I think the Rock and Roll Las Vegas Half Marathon, why does this race feel so big to you personally? So for me, I've loved rock and roll since I was a kid. David Bowie and Queen are some of my favorite, bands. I love them. I'm a big Fall Out Boy fan. I'm a big Panic at the Disco fan. Those are my favorite bands. And rock and roll has always meant something to me. It's always, the 80s had not the rebellion, but like a punk rock type. The 80s and 90s were like heavy pop rock, and that's where I think punk rock and pop rock have always been a part of me. I've been raised on that very much. It's been always a part of me, to the point where Queen actually was like something I sang for a pageant I was in. I dressed up in a Harley Davidson, jean jacket. And I think we have a new person who just joined us. Wonderful, wonderful. Welcome on in. But yeah, basically, I wore a Harley Davidson jacket when I was about 7, and I sang "We Will Rock You" at the Miss Amazing Massachusetts pageant, and that was an amazing experience. I will never forget that. Just the way the crowd was clapping and stomping their feet. There's only one time you get that experience. So being able to do something that's both something I enjoy in real life, which is rock and roll music, just music in general, and the race is just amazing. It's just the best thing ever. Let's see here. And then I know that there's one thing. I'm gonna pretend you guys asked me to say this, to be honest, but my disability, how does my disability affect my training? And that's a great question, because along with having a disability, there's going to be fatigue. There's going to be fatigue. It's going to be something that happens. Most people with physical disabilities do experience chronic pain, and I'm one of them. And, experiencing chronic pain is normal. So you have to remember, on those days where you feel like you can't push, kind of take a break. But also, maybe doing like a mile might work, you know what I mean? Just take a rest sometimes. Like, everyone needs a rest sometimes. Take the rest that you need and continue to basically just do what you can, even if you're really don't overdo yourself when you train. And I think that's something that people don't realize, is over pushing yourself on a day that a bad day you're already having, like, is not a good idea. Definitely, I think that you gotta be careful. Can you talk? I'm gonna pretend you guys asked me this again because I love answering. How am I preparing for the heat? That is a great question. I love the heat. Fun fact about me, I love it. It's wonderful. I'd say hydration, water. Water. Yeah, but definitely you gotta drink a lot of water. Because if you don't hydrate, then you might just end up having issues. I think definitely, how do I transport my bike? Good question. This has been asked quite frequently. So I transport my racing chair by taking the wheels off, and I usually have a bag for my wheels. I do not have a gear. Can you grab my wheel for me? Thank you so much. My dad's grabbing my wheel for me. But basically, I'm transport my wheels separately, and that either comes with us or gets checked. And then what we do is we take my racing chair along my day chair through security. We prefer to check my racing chair at the gate due to the fact that it is a very big chair, and I think having it is better for safekeeping. This is how big my wheel is. It's actually bigger than my head. I can't see over, but this is my wheel. I'm going to be carrying it in a little bit of a bigger bag. Here you can actually see this is recent because when you have these, they have branding on the wheels, and I used to have tape covering it, but that did not last very long. So, but I will be transporting it by putting a lot of pool noodles. Like we're talking a lot of pool noodles, a lot of crafts. It's arts and crafts basically, just trying to protect it. But I have to do that after security, so then the security professionals or the security workers can check my racer and make sure that there's nothing there, which there isn't. But safety first, And it's a very big chair, so checking it at the gate is usually what I end up doing. It's a very tedious, not tedious, it's a very complicated thing. I've only had to do this one other time, so I'm hoping that this is less, less difficult. I'm hoping, but it'll be nice. I'm very excited. How heavy is my racer? That is a great question. It is actually only around 21 pounds. It is quite light. I can actually lift it over my head, to be honest, which is really nice. And yeah, I think it's really funny that I can actually lift it over my head. I've had multiple people who are like, "Oh, is it really, really heavy?" And people don't realize to be a racing chair, it has to be light, because I'm kind of just trying to be aerodynamic. So that's what it is. It's very light, 21 pounds. You could lift it with one hand if you wanted to. So, how do I drink with gloves on? That is a great question. Hey, Dad, can you grab my water bottle, please? But yes, I drink with gloves on by using a special water bottle specifically made for racing. My gloves, can you grab my gloves as well, please? My gloves, sorry about that. My gloves are basically these huge fist gloves that are something that, you can't take your hands out of your push-in gloves. You're stuck like this when you push. You're basically taking a glove and you are rubbing it up on the side of the wheel. So let's pretend my hand is actually in this glove. I'm not gonna put it on. I don't feel comfortable right now. Pretend my hand is in this gloves. Also, shout out to Harness. I love Harness gloves. They're my favorite. But then you take the wheel, right? And imagine my arm is all bent up. I'm basically pushing my chair. I got another question in the chat. Do my parents leave the racer assembled in the car? Thankfully, I do have a truck with my family, I'm very grateful of that. And so they don't disassemble it, and it's completely in the van. Yes, it is deassembled, but in the truck, no. Oh, you just press the middle button. Taking my wheel out again. Here we go. Okay. Oh my goodness, I just slid. But you press the middle here, kind of similar. Oh wait, no, you unscrew the middle here, similar to a day chair, except you got to twist it. And then tire pressure. I don't like tire pressure. I don't like tire pressure. It's quite finicky. Tire pressure is. You have to be careful with it, but I love it. It's nice and wonderful and great. So Gotta blow your tires up before you do anything. And to continue the question on how do I drink water, this is one of my favorite water bottles. It is from Speedfill, which is usually used for bikes. Like this is usually used for in between the handlebars of what is it called? The bikes. Triathlon bikes. Yes, those. Sorry about that. This is basically in between the handles of that, which is wonderful. And basically what I do instead is I attach it to the top of my racer, and instead of having a huge bulky thing of water, I can have this, and it makes everything more lighter, more aerodynamic, which is wonderful. Oh yeah, and you just bite this, and that's how you get the water. I think everyone should go check them out. Not a sponsor or anything like that, thankfully. Not thankfully, but this is a great product, and the best part is to fill it. The reason it's called Speed Fill is that this here is where you actually insert the water rather than unscrewing the whole entire top off. So I could basically just pour a regular water bottle like this here into here, and it will be super quick, much quicker than anything else. Easier for me to do with my racing gloves on if needed. So that is wonderful. Definitely check them out. I'd say my favorite thing about my chairs is the fact that it's just very fast. It's very light. I don't feel anything, like I don't feel the same feeling anywhere else. This is the only place I really feel this free. I feel like I'm flying. That's something that we've worked so hard to try to achieve, is to fly. But, humans have tried to achieve to fly because it felt freeing and things like that. But that's exactly what the chair feels like. It feels like I'm gliding. It's just amazing. And another thing I totally want to talk about is, oh my goodness, why did I leave this all the way over here? Oh goodness. Let's see here. Here we go. Sorry about that. I got a photo book of my memories from the Falmouth Road Race. Ooh, wow, yeah. But, question? Where do I train in the winter? That is a wonderful question. I actually train in my house. I have this thing called a roller, which I believe I have actually a few videos of me racing on. It's a wonderful, kind of like a treadmill that a able-bodied person would use. It's kind of similar to that, except it is a metal cylinder that I basically roll on top of. It's like putting tires under your bike. Kind of, not tires, it's like putting books under your bike to hold it up. Kind of similar to that. But there's some amazing photos of memories from Falmouth in this book that I just love. I can't really see what I'm showing, but this is at the dinner. This is the day before Falmouth, and this is the 1 mile. So it was wonderful. Those are some of my favorite memories, along with. How else do I train at home? Oh, I do some weights. Light weights, 3 and 5 pound weights, and I do kind of similar to like a cardio workout, but with weights. Due to the fact that I do powerlifting, but I do take a break in the spring mainly so I can focus on track, because surprisingly I do both, and one sport focuses more on a stronger body profile with a bit more muscle mass, while one focuses on less muscle mass but light so you can achieve speed. So that's why I take a break off powerlifting in the spring. So in the summer I can. Oh yes, online sessions with adaptive training. I do a lot of online sessions with adaptive training. Some amazing groups are gonna be New York Parasport. They're wonderful. Adaptive Sports New England, I don't think does any online stuff, but they're still a great source. And then Glassa. I think Glassa is my biggest online sessions. I have an amazing training with Amy Day on there. That is I do that twice a week, I believe, usually, and that's amazing. And then Glass I do about 3 times a week. And they are amazing and wonderful. I definitely tell you to check them out. There is a link actually in the comment section if you're interested. They have an amazing program. Yes, you can find them online. There, you can reach out to them to become a member, and you can find Zoom workouts. So yeah, the Zoom workouts are amazing. How many people? I'm sorry. I'm checking out with my parents right now. They're like my moderators because I'm trying to figure out. They're my moderators currently, but trying to figure out if there's more people in the chat or what's going on. I only have a slight view of chat in my right hand corner here, which is it's quite small, so I can't see how many people are in or what's going on very much. I can only see. I have 7 viewers. Hi guys. I'm very happy that I have people. 7 people makes me really happy. You know, there's the more the merrier. But I'm happy I have 7. You know, still starting out, and I think that's great that I got 7. Yes, thank you for being here. I really enjoy that you've tried to spend or chosen to spend your time with me. That is a great honor to have. You know, I think I'm gonna have to wrap up though. Sadly, I go to bed at 7:30 usually. This is very late for me. But yeah, I just want to say good night to everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your support, and I will be streaming again tomorrow around the same exact time, and I hope to see you all here again. The more the merrier. Invite your friends. It would be really nice. And don't forget to check out MaryNoLimits.com to support me. Thank you so much. And yeah, anyways, that's it for now. Bye.